It's September 9th. It's 538 BC. The land of Benjamin and Judah has laid bare for 70 years, 1 year for each Sabbath rest for the land that had been neglected. The law of Moses had prescribed the Sabbath rest for the land, and that command had been ignored. The 70 years of exile were in accordance with God's demand. And so precisely on God's sovereign timetable, King Cyrus of Persia, the new emperor over Babylon, announces that Hebrews wishing to return to Jerusalem may do so in order to begin rebuilding the Jewish temple. The Lord stirs the hearts of many priests to return, and so under the leadership of Zerubbabel, the first group of exiles, a little over 42,000 of them, make the trip back to Jerusalem. Even before work on the temple begins, the people rebuild the altar, which stood just outside the temple building but inside the temple complex, so that sacrifices could once again be made according to the laws of Moses. Plans for temple construction are drawn and the foundation is laid. The ceremony celebrating the completion of the temple's foundation is a cause for great celebration, but also for great weeping from those old enough to remember seeing the first temple when they were young children. Enemy opposition arises and takes several forms, and when attempts at sabotage from within fail, Israel's enemies try to discourage the Jews. When that fails, they resort to intimidation and finally bribery. The enemy's opposition is formidable, causing work on the temple to stop for roughly 15 years. It should surprise no one that every significant move of God encounters opposition. Opposition that can be very strategic and quite shrewd and cunning in its tactics. Our enemy has multiple methods to achieve his goals. If Satan cannot cause God's people to stumble through moral failures or other sin, he'll try to discourage or lie to us about our inabilities or lack of qualifications. If those fail, he'll resort to helping us feel very prideful that we haven't succumbed to his other efforts. Those who seek to follow God must never underestimate their enemy. He is formidable. He is devious. He is very good at what he does. His primary tools are lies. In fact, he is described in Scripture as the father of lies. He's very good at it. Those seeking to cooperate with God must recognize the enemy's tactics and must be able to stand in firm opposition to them. Here's today's application. What lie is the enemy telling you right now? What has the enemy brought to your attention that has you discouraged or shaken or fearful about your abilities or your qualifications or about others in your life or about your future? Take a few minutes to meditate on that question and remember who your Father is and how wonderful His abilities and His promises are. You can stand firm on God's promises. Now here's today's prayer.